Welcome back with a smiley face. A link is provided in the video description for previous episodes. Giving up on the Alpha. Episode 6. Chapter 53. Axel POV David, I call the senior guard as they are about to leave. A word, please. David closes the door once we are alone and turns towards me. Nobody touches them. I give him a deathly stare to emphasize my words. Not even so much as a hug. Do you understand? Yes, Alpha. David nods and shifts uncomfortably on his feet. Is there a problem with the order? I raise my eyebrows. No, Alpha, maybe, he stutters. The girl with the black hair is my mate and well, it's going to be hard to keep my distance. Nina's your mate? I gape at him in surprise. Is that her name? David asks and I notice he has a difficult time to contain his excitement. Yes, I smile at him. And the blonde, Lyanna, is her best friend. Fine, you're allowed to touch Nina, if she allows you. But that's it. Do you understand? Loud and clear, Alpha, he smiles. And since you're Nina's mate, you'll be her bodyguard, I grin. You'll stick to her like glue. Even when she goes to work. With pleasure, sir, David smiles brightly. You're dismissed. I sit down behind my desk as David hurries out of my office. Poor bastard, I sigh inwardly. Hopefully, he will have better luck than me. Nina and Lyanna's situations are very similar regarding past relationships. I did my best and could not reach Lyanna. I call in another guard and order him to temporarily move to the park where Lyanna's parents live. I do not want to take any chances. If Wilson cannot find the girls, he might be desperate enough to target her parents. And I know Lyanna, she will never forgive herself if that happens. Absent-mindedly I stare out of the window once all the arrangements are in place. I feel empty and dead inside. I have lost my mate. She does not love me, and I cannot force her. I might as well cut my losses and marry Angela. Not for any other reason than an heir. Devastated by reality, I make arrangements for transportation and stand up. I must go to Lyanna and say goodbye. There is no longer a need for our agreement. Lyanna POV what's wrong? Drew asks as I get into the car. If you don't mind, I don't want to talk about it. I try to smile but instead burst out in tears. Oh, honey, Drew pats me on the leg. Is it really that bad? This time yes, I cry harder. Axel, he's so mad at me. He will calm down, Drew says reassuringly. He always does. Just give him time. That's the problem, I weep. He is calm. Angry and calm. He's never going to speak to me again. He will, Drew says sympathetically. Just hang in there, this too shall pass. Thanks, I sniff and hug Drew quickly before I get out of the car. I know Drew meant well, but he did not help. He did not see Axel. He does not know what happened. The way Axel dismissed me was clear. He is done with me. I knew this day would come. I sniff as I take a bag and start packing for the weekend with Nina. I just did not think it would be so soon. And I did not think it would hurt so much. For sake, I caught my fiancé in bed with another woman and it did not hurt this much. I was angry and devastated but not hurt. Now it feels like I will never pick up the pieces and move on. Lyanna, Axel's voice echoes through the cottage and my entire being stills. Is he really here or have I completely lost my mind? Hastily I wipe the tears off my face and run towards the front door. Axel, I smile happily when I see him walk towards me. I'm surprised to see you. I intertwine my fingers to keep them from reaching for him. Honestly, there are so many things that I want to say and do and none of them are niceties. But after the way we left things in his office, I do not know what to expect. I'm here to say goodbye. There is no emotion in his eyes or on his face as he puts his hands in his pockets. It's just for the weekend, I laugh nervously. He only looks at me for what feels like an eternity, and anxiety builds higher and higher inside me. I have never seen him this serious, and it scares me. "Goodbye, Lyanna," he smiles softly as he cups my face and strokes my cheek with his thumb. He steps back and turns around, and that is when the earth crumbles around me. He is really doing it, he is leaving me. "Axel," I shout on the verge of hysteria and run after him. With all my might I push the door shut as he opens it and turn to him. My plea and protest froze in my throat, and for a moment I can only look at him. "Don't go," I finally croak the words. "Not like this. Lyanna, please," I beg as I cup his cheeks and kiss him all over his face. "Please. Not like this. Don't send me away feeling like this. Please," I'm begging, "Axel, please." He growls deeply before his arms go around my waist like iron clamps. Desperately I cling to him when our lips collide. I kiss him hungrily as he picks me up and carries me to the bedroom. My panic and fear turn into desperation and desire as I hastily start undressing him. I need to feel him, touch him. The room fills with our heated breathing as we get rid of our clothes and our naked bodies entangles with each other. I push him onto his back and straddle him. I lean forward and caress his chest with warm and eager kisses. He moans softly when I suck on his neck and his fingers dig into my hips. From the very first time, he loved kissing me on my neck, and even though I do not really understand it, I know this spot has a significant meaning. And I am desperate to keep him with me. So, I keep on caressing the spot as I center his shaft at my core. I take a moment to tease him as I rub and circle him at my entrance. The harder I suck on his neck, the heavier his breathing becomes, and I know that he enjoys it. I bite into his neck as I lower myself onto him. The moment I bite, Axel roars, and he thrusts hard into me before he jerks and ejaculates. For a second, I fear that I have gone overboard and hurt him with the bite. He never comes so quickly, but he pulls me to his chest with brutal force. Harsh, passionate kisses rain down on me as he rolls me over onto my back. "What have you done?" He growls, and I swallow hard when I notice his eyes are more black than green. "Nothing," I whimper. "I only wanted to please you." "You like being kissed on the neck," and my words are cut off when he kisses me wildly. His hands are rough and almost painful as they explore my body. His hands and mouth are everywhere and all over me, and I try to keep up. I have never experienced Axel like this before. It is like it is him, but it is not. Unceremoniously he flips me over onto my stomach and lifts my hips. His erection is hard and throbbing between my legs, and I steady myself on my knees. Ruthlessly he shoves into me, and I cry out. His rhythm is hard and fast, and my fingers curl into the linen for support. Axel reaches from behind and starts rubbing my clitoris as he increases his pace. My climax builds rapidly as he stimulates me mercilessly. Every muscle in my body tenses and my legs starts trembling. I cry out in ecstasy when my orgasm hits me, but Axel keeps on shoving into me until I am nothing more than a trembling and whimpering mess. Axel growls long and deep when he finally relieves himself into me. I collapse forward onto the bed, trying to catch my breath. "Are you okay?" he asks as he picks me up and cradles me against his chest. I look into his eyes, that is now the familiar green that I love so much. "I'm fine," I smile as I nestle closer to him. "Honestly, I can take much more if that means he will stay with me." "Are you sure I didn't hurt you?" He studies my face intensely. "Yes," I sit up and kiss him. Instantly his arms go around my waist and his lips are warm and tender. He lays me down back onto the pillows and trail kisses down my jaw, to my neck and lower before he settles on my breasts. I sigh and close my eyes, or my fingers get lost in his hair. He lifts himself and settles between my legs. In contrast with earlier, he enters me slowly and gently. His mouth is tender and warm on my lips as he rhythmically thrusts into me. I glide my hands over his back and dig my nails into his bottom as I lift my hips to be closer to him. I moan softly when my orgasm washes over me, and Axel grunts against my lips when he joins me. For a moment we remain like that as we catch our breaths. You must get ready, he says as he gets up and starts dressing. David will be here any minute to take you to the spa. Axel, are we okay? I ask softly. I cannot shake the feeling that he is still mad at me. Sure, he replies but does not look at me. Are you still mad at me? I whisper as I bite back the threatening tears. Go and enjoy your weekend, he leans over and kisses me quickly before he turns around and leaves. Motionless I sit on the bed and stare at the entangled sheets. Tears start streaming down my face. He did not answer my question and I know, we are not okay. This might very well be the end. Lyanna POV. It's Monday, I mumble to my reflection in the mirror as I fix my makeup. I am not ready for today. I am not ready to face Axel, but I have no choice. After my emotional breakdown Friday night, Nina gave me all the support and space I needed. She carried me through the worst and by Sunday I could actually smile and enjoy activities with her. But that was yesterday. Today I will see Axel and I do not think I am ready for it. Scrap that, I know I am not ready. I still wake up in sweat crying every night. I still struggle to breathe when I replay our last encounter. My heart still pulls painfully when I hear his name. I am not fine. Holy Mother of Pearl, I mumble when I open the cabinet to put my makeup away and I notice my contraceptive pills. I have not taken a pill since that dreadful day that Angela locked me in the bathroom. And with being in the hospital and dealing with Wilson and Axel dumping me, it completely slipped my mind. I sigh as I toss it back into the cabinet. There is no use in taking it now. Axel left me. The thought creates fresh tears and I shake my head. Suck it up, I say to my reflection before I put on my sunglasses, grab my handbag and walk to the car waiting for me. I am relieved when I walk into the office and notice that I am the first to arrive. I need more time to build up the strength to talk and laugh with Juliana as if nothing is wrong. I pick up the stack of papers that needs to be documented and sit down at my desk. Longingly I look at Axel's office door. Is he here yet? Should I check and say hello? I have not seen him since Friday, and I miss him so much. No. I reprimand myself when I feel the tears creeping up and pull the papers closer. I cannot sit here and cry, I need to work. You're here, Juliana says happily, and I look up in surprise. I was so deep in my work that I did not hear her. Welcome back. Good to be back, I smile at her. I hope Axel is in a better mood today, she sighs as she places her handbag down and starts her computer. He was downright full of shit after you left. Really? Interested, I look up from my work. Don't say I said that, she whispers with big eyes. He'll fire me. No, he won't, I chuckle. Friday he would've, she snorts. Don't worry, I won't tell, I smile as I continue with my work. I'm going to make coffee, do you want? Juliana asks as she walks past my desk. Yes, please, Axel replies, and my hands jerk over the keyboard in fright. Don't look up, I say to myself as I look up. My heart stops and my blood freezes when our eyes meet. Yes, sir, Juliana's reply splinters the moment and I look down at my hands. No, thank you, I clear my throat and start typing random letters with trembling fingers. I have no idea where I was, and Axel is still looking at me. The last thing I want is for him to know how unnerved I am. Lyanna, my name sounds like honey on his lips, and I steel myself as I look up at him. Can you come to my office please? Sure, I clear my throat as I pick up a pen and my diary. My heart is beating 1,000 miles per minute as I follow him into his office. I wonder if he can hear my heart beating. Wolves have exceptional hearing, he might, and if he does, he can tell how I feel. How was the weekend? He asks as he drapes his jacket over his chair. Good, I say as I take a seat. The resort was lovely, thank you. I'm glad you liked it, he smiles as Juliana comes in with the coffee. I sit quietly and look at my hands as Axel talks to her before she leaves. Lyanna, he clears his throat. We should talk. No, I shake my head adamantly. I already know what he is going to say, and I cannot hear it now. I will suffer another panic attack, and being dumped by him is humiliating and painful enough. To hear the actual words will break me. Let's stick to work. Okay, he says after a moment of silence, and I feel his eyes on me. I must go to Dallas again for 3 weeks. Please book a flight and accommodation. I nod as I scribble it down. Not because I am afraid that I might forget a single instruction, but because it keeps my hands busy, and I do not have to look at him. Anything else? I clear my throat and look up. Which is a terrible mistake because I am instantly sucked into his eyes. Yes, he stands up and I keep my eyes fixated on the clear blue sky behind his desk. I need to know how you're doing. I close my eyes and swallow hard as he sits down next to me. Axel POV Axel, please, her voice is nothing more than a whisper. I cannot do this here. I cannot go to Dallas not knowing. I take her trembling hands into mine. It is killing me to see her like this. The weekend was not well. My wolf yearned for her and so did I. Neither my wolf nor I will be calm when I go to Dallas, and she is still unhappy. Has she somehow figured out that she marked me and regrets it? Did I hurt her when my wolf was dominant when we made love? I must go, she sniffs and dashes for the door. But I am quicker and block her way. Why are you so upset? I frown as I lock the door and rest my hands on her shoulders. Really? She sneers with a quivering bottom lip. Like you don't know. The pain in her blue eyes is like a dagger in my heart. My wolf did hurt her. I'm so sorry, I say urgently as I place my palm against her cheek. I never meant to hurt you. It's complicated, but my wolf, it doesn't matter, she cuts me off. It's over and in the past. No, I say adamantly as I cup her face and kiss her softly. It's never okay to hurt you. She sighs as I deepen the kiss and my wolf rejoices when she responds eagerly. How am I ever supposed to let her go? I groan inwardly as she puts her hands on my wrists and pulls away. Please forgive me, I mumble as I rest my forehead on hers. There's nothing to forgive, she smiles softly before she gently kisses me. It's not your fault. Lyanna, I need to go, she clears her throat and unlocks the door. Your plane ticket isn't going to magically appear from the sky. Defeated, I hang my head and close my eyes. I cannot go to Dallas, not like this. Not while she is hurting. It does not matter that she says it is fine, her eyes are telling a different story. Lyanna, I open the door and walk to her desk. Please come with me. She looks at me in bewilderment for only a second before she follows me to the elevators. Where are we going? She asks as the elevator descends. I signed a multi-million-dollar contract in Dallas, I explain as I lead her to the parking lot. And you're sorely mistaken if you think that I can do my work efficiently when you're looking like this. Looking like what? She frowns as we get into the car. Like a kicked puppy, I grunt as I start the engine and pull away. You apologized and I accepted, she crosses her arms in front of her chest. End of story. If only you meant it, I grunt as I drive deeper into the woods to the place I showed my wolf to her. I did mean it, she argues. You're forgiven. Fine, I kill the engine and turn to face her. If I'm forgiven, why can't you look at me? Because it took me an entire weekend to stop crying, she explodes and looks at me with pain-filled eyes. And I don't want to go back to that. I'm not upset or angry. I'm trying to heal, and it's not easy, okay? I swallow hard on the disgust as I look at the trees. I never knew I hurt her so deeply. She might forgive me for what I have done, but I will never forgive myself. Up to this point, I was debating whether or not I should reject her, but now I know. If I love her at all, I will set her free. My wolf and I will learn to deal with the rejection, but I cannot continue knowing that I am responsible for her pain. What are you doing? She asks softly as I open the door and climb out. I'm going to tell you something in a minute. I undo my tie and throw it back into the car. And then I'm going to shift. You should take the car and go back to the office. Axel, her eyes widen as I take off my shirt. Wait, she shrieks as she gets out of the car and runs towards me. Did I do that? Her voice is hoarse, and horror is written over her face as she touches my mark. The mate bond sparks through me, and I quickly step away from her. It's nothing, I mumble as I take off my shoes and pants. I need to reject her and fast. She simply touched my mark, and my wolf is already aroused. He is going to fight me on this. Once I have uttered the words, I must shift and run away as fast as I can before he goes berserk and kills what is in front of him. Lyanna POV panic creates havoc in me as Axel undresses. My eyes fixated on the mark on his neck. I did that. Me, the girl crying her eyes out because he left me. Why would he want to stay? Look what I have done to him. He has been apologizing and asking for forgiveness when it should be me groveling in front of him. I was the moron falling in love. I am solely responsible for my broken heart. It is not his fault. And I am the one who inflicted physical pain, not him. For sake, I scarred him. It's not nothing, I shout as I grab his hands before he can pull down his boxers. Please, I beg softly as I look at him. I'm the one that should be apologizing, not you. It's not what you think, he smiles sadly. It doesn't hurt. Bullshit, I grunt and gently lay my fingers on the mark. Instantly he flinches and I look at him sternly. See? It does hurt. It's warm and obviously sensitive to touch. It's most likely infected. You need to go to the doctor and have that looked at. You'll probably get a tetanus shot. No, I won't, he laughs heartedly, and I look at him flabbergasted. This is not funny, Axel, I say furiously. This could become life-threatening if left untreated. It's a little funny, he winks at me. Asshole, I shove him hard against his chest, turn around and blindly storm off. Lyanna, wait, he shouts. Die and see if I care, I yell angrily over my shoulder. Can anyone please explain to me why I love that jerk? I put myself through this weekend thinking that he left me when he only could have told me that I hurt him. And now, when I apologized for it and try to be helpful, he laughs at me. Laughs. Will you stop running away? He catches up with me. No, I grunt and keep on walking. You're going the wrong way, he chuckles. Any way away from you is the right way, I huff. Why are you so mad? He grins. Because you're laughing, I come to a standstill and turn to him. That thing could start oozing pus any second and you're laughing about it. Okay, wow, there is no laughter in his voice and his eyes are serious when he looks at me. There is nothing wrong with my mark. I'm a wolf, remember? If there's one thing I know, it's bite marks. It's not infected, and nothing will discharge from it. I will not have seizures and die. Is that why you laughed at me? I ask angrily. Because I'm too stupid to know that. Lyanna, I didn't laugh at you, he rests his hands on my shoulders. I promise. It was cute that you care, and it made me happy. You're still a jerk for laughing, I say stubbornly as I walk back to the car. But I must bite my lip to stop myself from smiling as relief washes over me. I still feel terrible for biting so hard, but at least he is fine. And I put myself nothing this weekend. He did not leave me, I assumed that he did because of his reaction. A reaction I caused by biting him. Axel POV I laugh softly as I watch her walk away, but my smile falters after a moment. She still has no idea what this mark means. I sigh heavily as I follow her to the car. I must tell her the meaning. It will be selfish not to. Lyanna must decide what she wants to do about it. A part of me does not want to do it. If I do not tell her, she cannot reject me. But keeping this to myself is getting dangerous. I will not be able to control my wolf forever. Lyanna, wait, I call as I jog to her, and she turns around. We need to talk. That doesn't sound good, she swallows and looks skeptically at me. It's serious, I nod and take a deep breath as I search for the right words. You're right, the mark isn't nothing. But you just said, medically it's fine, I cut her off and take her hands to calm her down. But, what are you doing? My mind ceases as she leans forward and gently kisses my mark. Instantly my wolf stirs, and my erection grows. Apologizing, she smiles sweetly. You shouldn't do that, my hands ball into fists as I fight my wolf. I don't want to hurt you again. I don't understand, she frowns. When you touch my mark, you're connecting with my wolf, I struggle to say the words and ignore my desire. That's why things got so rough Friday, and you got hurt. You didn't hurt me, she looks at me in amazement. It was different but not painful at all. Good to know, my chest heaves up and down as I concentrate on my breathing. You should go now. Are you about to shift? She looks at me with big eyes. Pretty much, I grunt. So, please, stop talking and get out of here. But I've seen your wolf before, she protests. What's different now? Lyanna, please, this is becoming unbearable, I kneel and dig my fists into the dirt. Touching my mark arouses my wolf. I must either shift and get rid of this energy or take you to bed. So please, for the love of the goddess, leave. Then take me to bed, she whispers as she kneels next to me and kisses my mark. I growl loudly as desire pulses through me, but that does not deter her. It only encourages her to suck on my mark and I lose it. My wolf wants his mate and she just offered herself to him. My arms clamp around her and she wraps her legs around my waist as I stand up. Lyanna keeps on caressing my mark as I walk to the car with long strides. My erection is painfully hard by the time I open the back door and lay her down. We maintain eye contact as she removes her clothes and lays on her back. My wolf growls in satisfaction when she places her ankles on my shoulders. I drink in her naked beauty before I slowly bury myself in her warmth. She moans softly and swirls her hips and I thrust faster and deeper into her. Her breasts move along with my rhythm, and I cannot tear my eyes away from her perfection. Lyanna moans louder and I reach for her clitoris. She gasps loudly as I stroke her with the same rhythm as I shove into her. Yes, she arches her back, and her legs start trembling as she comes. I shove harder and deeper until I find my release and ejaculate. My legs are weak, and I close my eyes for a moment to regain my composure. Lyanna removes her legs from my shoulders and stands on her knees in front of me as she wraps her arms around my neck and longingly kisses me. I wrap my arms around her waist and pull her closer to me as I deepen our kiss. Now, isn't this more fun than running? She murmurs against my lips. We still need to talk, I chuckle before kissing her again. If it's bad, I don't want to hear it, she says determinedly as she pulls away and starts dressing. It's not bad, I sigh as I walk to my bundle of clothes. It's complicated. I don't want to talk about that either, she replies, and I shake my head. Lyanna, if we don't talk about this, I'll be taking advantage of you and I don't want to, I explain as I pull up my pants. Fine, she hops out of the car fully clothed. What's so important that you need to spoil my afterglow? This mark, I point to my neck. It means something to wolves, Lyanna. You accidentally marked me like I'm your mate. What? Her head jerks to me and her eyes are wide as saucers. Are you serious? Now is not the time for joking, I sigh as I take her by the arm and lead her towards the car. It's a wolf thing. We mark our mates by biting onto the neck. But I was Wyatt's mate and he never said anything, she frowns confused. Or tried, for that matter. Because he was in love with Gwen and not with you, I explain as we drive back to the office. When we find our mates, we can choose to accept or reject them. If we choose to accept, we complete the ritual by leaving a mark, and that's when our wolves connect. Oh shit, she looks at me with devastation. I'm so sorry. How do we fix it? You either become my mate or you reject me, I answer nonchalantly but honestly. My gut is in turmoil. I deliberately do not tell her that we are mates. I do not want to force her to accept me. If she chooses me, it must be out of love and not an obligation. This is the moment of truth. My mate is either going to break my heart or make me the happiest man alive. What happens to the mark if I reject you? Her question makes my blood ice over and I hold tighter onto the steering wheel. It will fade away and disappear, I reply through clenched teeth. Good, she sighs and rests her hand on her chest. I would feel terrible if I scarred you for life by accident. Her answer is like a ton of bricks dumped onto my heart and I keep my eyes fixated on the road. I feel like shit, and she has not even officially rejected me. It is going to hurt like a bitch. My phone rings and I answer when I see the office's number. Sir, Juliana's voice fills the car through the speakerphone. Angela is here to see you. I close my eyes and crank my neck to the side. This is the very last thing I expected or needed. Tell her I already left for Dallas, I say brusquely and disconnect the call. Are you okay? Lyanna asks concerned. You're as white as a sheet. Just peachy, I grin sarcastically. The last thing I want to do is make her feel guilty for rejecting me, but I am incapable to pretend that it does not hurt. I simply don't have the energy to face Angela. Okay, she replies softly as I pull into the parking lot. Please book my plane ticket and mail the details. I manage to sound normal and look at her. I'm going to hide at the airport. Have a safe trip, she leans over and kisses me quickly before she hops out of the car and walks away. Axel POV. I speed off with screeching tires towards the airport. I am relieved that I packed last night and loaded my luggage. I do not want to risk going home and finding Angela's parents there as well. Lyanna does not want to be my mate. The words are like hot daggers jabbing me. I replay our conversation over and over in my head, trying to figure out if her decision would be the same if I have said things differently. Damn it! I hit the steering wheel in frustration. I should have coerced her into accepting me. Why did I have to be so stubborn? Why does it matter so much that she loves me? If she accepted me, she could learn to love me over time. No, I sigh. That is selfish. I cannot say I love her and then put my happiness above hers. Besides, if she stays with me in obligation, I will always wonder where she is and who she is with. I will turn into a jealous and paranoid freak questioning all her relationships. That will make us both miserable. It sucks, but I did the right thing. I laid out the options and she made a choice. And there still is hope, I try to cheer up myself. Until she officially rejects me, I have time to show her how much I love her. I only wish I did not have to go to Dallas and leave her. On the other hand, this trip can turn out convenient. Lyanna can use this time to come to terms with everything and she could very well change her mind. Lyanna POV. I cannot get rid of the ridiculous grin on my face as I walk to the office. All that drama and tears over the weekend were for nothing. I got into my own stupid head and tortured myself for no reason. Axel did not leave me. I still cannot believe I marked him. That was a terrible thing to do, and I feel awful about it. I might not be as educated on wolves as I should be, but common sense tells me that I overstepped. Marking is a mate thing. Axel said so himself. I violated the mate bond by marking him without his permission. In human terms, it comes down to abuse. The thought turns sour in my gut, and I swallow hard. I owe him so much more than an apology. Axel is such a good and kind man. He was not angry when I did this despicable thing. He did not blame or hate me for it. Any other person would have been furious. Instead, he explained the situation and told me how I can fix it. Oh, no. My hand stills midair when I reach to press the elevator's button. I did not take my contraceptive pill this morning. I thought we were over, and I do not need it anymore. I must get to the pharmacy at lunch for an emergency contraceptive and start taking my pills again. When Axel returns in 3 weeks, it will be safe again. Satisfied that all is well again, I walk into the office and smile at Lyanna as I sit down behind my desk. I book a flight and accommodation for Axel and mail the information. Poor man, he still has another 3 hours to kill at the airport before he can board the plane. Where did you go? Lyanna asks out of the blue. Excuse me. I frown and look up at her. You and Axel, she leans forward on her desk. Where did he take you? Oh, that, I lower my eyes and clear my throat as I think of an excuse. Lying always comes around and bites you in the ass, but telling the truth is out of the question. So, I decided to stick to the truth, from last week. Do you remember my crying friend from Friday? Yes, Nina. Lyanna's eyes start twinkling and instantly I can tell she loves gossip. She got involved with a guy that's not her mate, I explain. And it turns out he's a dangerous person to know. Axel agreed to help her, and we went to sort out loose ends from Friday. There, I smile satisfied. Not a single lie. Axel and I did sort out Friday's events. You know, Lyanna sighs and shakes her head. I never could understand why people get involved with anybody other than their mates. Call me old-fashioned, I don't care, but you don't jump into a relationship if it's not your mate. In her defense, she's human. My smile is strained. I might be defending Nina here, but I am also defending myself. Axel is not my mate and not only are we sleeping together, but I also marked him. She didn't know he wasn't her mate. Oh, I'm not judging her, Lyanna says hastily. If anything, I pity humans for not having the mate bond to guide them. You do realize I'm human, right? I raise my eyebrows. Lyanna is dangerously close to offending my species. Of course I know, she looks at me as if I have lost my marbles. And I'm not insulting you, I'm sympathetic. The mate bond guides us to our perfect match. We don't have to search and date frogs to find our princes. Sure, our mates can still turn out to be a douche, but the odds are in our favor more often than not. It's not like that for you. You can fall in love with the wrong person and have your heart broken over and over. And my judgment is reserved for wolves messing around with random people. They have the guiding system and should know better. Nina isn't at fault, the wolf is. He knew better. I guess you have a point, I sigh as I overthink her words. In theory, she is right. But theory does not take into account cheating assholes like Wyatt. He was my mate and betrayed me. Axel is not my mate, and he has been my rock from the moment he rescued me and Nina in the parking lot. I'm simplifying, I know, she smiles apologetically. Nothing is straightforward and there's always an exception to the rule. Some wolves don't find their mate and settle for the next best thing. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, just look at Angela and Axel. What? My head jerks up and an iron clamp tightens around my chest. The two of them together scream disaster. Lyanna rolls her eyes theatrically. There's a reason they're not mates. He's a good man and she's horrible. He strives to be a good alpha for the pack, and she only wants status. That marriage is going to be a disaster from the second they say I do. Marriage. I croak. What am I missing here? I literally had my legs around Axel's neck 2 hours ago. He is hiding at the airport to avoid Angela. Why is Lyanna talking about Axel and Angela as a couple? Yet, Lyanna sighs and shakes her head. That witch flew in here on her broom and showed off a monstrosity of a ring, claiming that she and Axel are keeping their engagement a secret until the official party. Oh, wow, I mumble as I sit back in my chair and try to process all the information. Axel is engaged. To Angela, she gives me a pained look. Can you imagine how demanding and bitching she's going to be once she's Luna? She's already horrible, now she's going to be insufferable. Yes, I agree like a zombie. This cannot be true, my heart argues. This is just one of Angela's lies. And I like my job, Juliana pouts after a moment of silence. I don't know if I could continue working here if she starts throwing her weight around. Do you think she's telling the truth? I grasp to a sliver of hope. I mean, Axel would have told us, right? In all my years working for Axel he has not shared an inch of his private life with me, she shakes her head. And Angela is desperate to marry him. She will not jeopardize her only chance by making up stories and aggravating him. I stare blindly at my computer screen. This cannot be true. This has to be a sick joke Angela concocted. Axel promised me Angela will not get away with trying to kill me. The realization strikes me like lightning. Not only did he not do anything about it, but he is also marrying her. My cell phone rings and dumbstruck I pick it up. It's Nina. I clear my throat and stand up. Excuse me, I need to take this. Hi, I answer the phone as I walk into the elevator. I'm just checking in, Nina says softly. You didn't look so great yesterday. It's horrible, I burst out in tears as I slide down the elevator's side to the floor. I'm coming, Nina says hastily. No, I say urgently and pull myself together. I'll be fine. He left for Dallas. You don't sound fine, Lyanna, Nina says strictly. Because I'm not fine, I pick myself up from the floor and wipe the tears away. But I will be because I have to be and there's nothing you can do to help. I can bring wine, Nina offers. Wine always helps. It's not even lunch, I laugh through my tears. It's lunch somewhere, Nina scoffs. And you need it. No, I sniff and lift my chin. I appreciate it, but it's time for me to face the facts. It's over. It was fun while it lasted, and I will pick up the pieces and move forward. I've done it before, I will do it again. I will see you tonight. Are you sure? She tries one more time. I've never been surer in my life, I say, and I am glad when anger starts brewing inside me. Anger is good, anger will keep me going. We say goodbye and I go back to my desk. That son of a bitch. Fury rages through me. I am done with him. I am done crying over him. Done sleeping with him and done listening to his sweet words of seduction. I am done, just done. Lyanna POV 3 weeks. 3 weeks have passed since I last seen or heard from Axel. I have ignored his calls and messages. I replied coolly and professionally to work-related emails and messages, but that is it. Now I am sitting at my desk and staring at my computer as my nerves gnaw at me. Axel can walk in here any second and I can only pray that I will seem calm and collected. That he cannot tell that I have fallen apart when I learned about his engagement. That he cannot see that I still cry myself to sleep at night. That it is not obvious that I have not been eating because everything tastes like dust. That I do not look as miserable as I feel. I have been practicing daily, but reality is vastly different from what is plotting in my mind. According to Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, there are 5 stages of grief, and I am pretty sure I worked through all of them. I am done with denying the truth that Axel is engaged. I went into a manic rage and screamed and shouted at my favorite portrait of him that I drew. In the solitude of my cottage, I told him how much I hated him for making me trust and love him. How much I miss him and how empty everything seems without him. And when I was at my angriest, I broke down crying and started bargaining. I begged him to come back to me. To love me, to pick me. I wanted to promise him the moon and stars and eternity. And then I realized I have nothing to give. I have no bargaining chip. I cannot promise lucrative contracts and allies to a neighboring pack like Angela. So, I accepted it. I am a human and I cannot bring anything of value to the table. The ping of the elevator's door pulls me away from my thoughts and I look up right into Axel's green eyes. My heart starts racing like a horse and I fight the urge to jump into his arms and kiss him senseless. My palms start sweating despite the cool office and the room just got a little bit brighter. "Where's Juliana?" he asks brusquely. "Good morning," I master my brightest smile. "She has a doctor's appointment and will be back this afternoon." "Oh, yes," he grunts. "I forgot. Do you want coffee?" I ask as he storms to his office. "No," he huffs before he slams the door shut. I slowly exhale and sit down. I made it. It was awkward, but I made it. I was friendly and professional just as I planned, and I did not break down or throw myself at his feet begging him to love me. Progress. I am making progress. Axel POV. The windows shatter as I slam the door shut and I take a seat on the nearest couch. My hands are trembling, and I ball them into fists. "She's still here," I breathe the words in relief. These past 3 weeks were not well. She kissed me farewell and then went cold. In the back of my mind, I expected to find her desk empty and her gone. Or that Wilson got to her and made good on his promise. David had to send me pictures of proof that she is unharmed and at home. Not only is she still here, but she is also all smiles. What happened? I want to jump up and confront her, but I cannot bring myself to move. The relief of seeing her is too great. I rest my elbows on my knees, putting my face in my hands. I have no idea how I am supposed to handle this situation. There is a knock on the door, and I look up as Lyanna enters. "Jack has sent this," her voice is steady and sweet. "It's the new contract. He said he'll contact you this week regarding a meeting." Flabbergasted, I look at her as she walks to my desk and places the documents down. It is like watching a stranger. She is not the passionate woman that made love to me before I left. Nor is she angry or silent like the person that ignored me for 3 weeks. "Oh," she turns to me. "And your father phoned, enough," I bellow as I jump up and walk to her. She does not move or flinch. She simply intertwines her fingers and looks at me with a stoic expression. "What has gotten into you?" I demand and push my hands into my pockets. Goddess knows I would much rather touch her, but she is acting so strange that I fear that she would attack me. "I'm simply doing my work, sir," she replies coolly, and her gaze does not waver from mine. "Lyanna, don't test me," I growl deep and low. "You know perfectly well what I'm talking about." "My apologies, Alpha," she bows slightly, and my eyes nearly pop out of my sockets. "I have no intentions of aggravating you." "Aggravating me?" I hiss as I cling to the last shred of self-control. "Aggravating me?" I bellow as I grab her hand and she gasps for air as I press her fingers against my throbbing mark. "You shouldn't worry about me, Lyanna. You should worry about him." Her beautiful blue eyes look emotionless at me, but she does not move. "Do you feel it?" I growl. "Why, yes," she stutters. "It's beating. It's beating for you," I warn her softly. "You cannot toy with a wolf like you would humans. Choose your next move wisely." "That's rich," she explodes as she jerks her hand away, and I am relieved to see emotion in her eyes again. "You can string an entire harem along, but I must choose wisely." "For the love of the goddess, what are you talking about?" I bellow. "Angela." She spits the word as if it is a bad taste in her mouth. "Your fiancé. Tell me, Axel. Does she approve of UFG me on the back seat of your car, or should I expect another attempt on my life?" "What?" I whisper as the blood drains from my face. "How does she know about Angela?" "Worse, who else knows?" The entire idea of the engagement party was to keep this concealed. "We had an agreement, Axel," she yells furiously. "No other relationships. I kept my part, but you got engaged." "It's not what you think," I defend myself. "It's not real. It's a smokescreen so that she can stay away from you. That's your master plan." She raises her eyebrows. To marry my assailant. Wow, she throws her hands up in the air. Now that will teach her. I have no intention of marrying her, I shout angrily. You're missing the point, Lyanna shoves me hard against my chest. It's not about your intentions, it's about your actions. You have no intentions of marrying me, but that doesn't stop us from humping like rabbits. Angela is planning a wedding to a hot-blooded alpha. I don't believe she would have said yes without a quick roll in the hay. Believe it. I interrupt her. I have not so much as kissed her since I met you. Don't wrap horse shit and sell it as figs, Axel, she sneers. And you can bet that she will definitely kill me once she learns I marked you. I stand there like an imbecile as her words hit hard and mercilessly. This is not how I planned things to go. The engagement was supposed to keep Angela occupied while I woo my mate. Now I am stuck with Angela and not with Lyanna. You were laying in the hospital fighting for your life, I hiss when life returns to me. I had to do something to keep you safe. My dad is still alpha and can overrule me. Do you honestly think he would believe that his best friend's daughter is capable of attempted murder? Then why didn't you tell me? Her bottom lip starts quivering and my heart breaks for her. Because it's a ruse, I say softly as I step closer and rest my hands on her shoulders. It's so insignificant and unreal to me that I do not think about it. Because I was occupied with keeping you and Nina safe. I am sorry, Lyanna. I'm sorry. I haven't seen Angela since the night we got engaged. And I haven't kissed or slept with her. As I say the words, the image of Angela pinned against my bedroom wall taunts me, but I shove it to the back of my mind. Now is not the time to tell Lyanna about it. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, I sigh as I glide my hands up and down her arms. I tricked her into keeping it a secret until we announce it at a party that never will happen. Your plan sucks, she sniffs and wipes the tears off her face as she pulls away from me. Because you don't have an exit strategy. Lyanna, no, she shakes her head as she walks towards the door. I'm done. And at the office, we work. Nothing else. I'm going to kill her, I blurt out the words as she reaches for the door. A deafening silence fills my office, and she slowly turns around. Have you completely lost your mind? She gapes at me. She tried to kill you, I'm simply returning a favor, I shrug as I go sit behind my desk. She did it at the spur of the moment, Lyanna shrieks as she marches to my desk. You're planning hers. That's not the same, Axel. Are you defending her? I look at her flabbergasted. I'm not defending her, I'm protecting you against yourself, she argues. The truth always finds a way to surface, and when her parents learn that you killed their daughter, there will be war. You're going to risk your pack, your company, everything you have and cherish to get rid of a nutjob. That's simply foolish and the price much too high. Then what do you propose? I raise my eyebrows. Marry her for all I care, she sneers as she turns around and walks to the door. And you can answer your own damn phones. I'm taking a sick day. Lyanna. I call her, but she slams the door shut and defeated I stare at it. What just happened? Lyanna POV. I grab my handbag and storm towards the elevator. So much for my progress. I tried so hard not to get angry, not to cry and not to care. And I failed miserably on all accounts. Kill her. What? I stop at reception and report to Shelley that I am leaving and that she should handle Axel's calls before I walk to the bus stop and go home. Today I was supposed to prove to myself that I can live without Axel, but then I saw him. I wanted to strip off his clothes, have my dirty, nasty way with him and then kill him. Goddess knows I missed that man. It was painfully good to see him again. And I accept his explanation about the engagement. I am not sure if I am an idiot, but I believe him. He did what he could to keep me safe. My anger already subsided when I was leaving the office. I was going to make him stew on it for the rest of today and then tonight, for sake. Why did he have to go and spoil it again by talking about killing Angela? How can one man be so kind, so caring and so compassionate just to turn around and murder a person. Granted, Angela is a cow and death becomes her, but still. I drop my coat and handbag on the couch before I kick off my shoes and fall face first into the pillows. I scream and scream into the pillows until my screams turn into tears. Why? I sob into my pillow. Why did I have to fall in love with him? Axel POV. I am speechless. For the first time in my entire life, I am numb and gobsmacked. By a human. I am supposed to be a mighty alpha and a tiny human ripped me to shreds. I am in uncharted waters, and I suspect that I am drowning. Do I really want her as my mate? I wonder as I rub my mark. A lifetime with a man-eater? Yeah, I smile as I get up. She keeps me honest and on my toes. I need her in my life. Determined to get her back, I grab my phone and keys to head to her place. It is eerily quiet as I enter her cottage. For a split second, I thought she is not home, but then I see her coat and handbag. Silently I tiptoe to her room and find her sleeping. My heart cramps when I see the tear stains on her cheeks. I am responsible for that. Nobody else. I do not want to make her cry. I want her to be happy. Softly I sit down next to her and lean forward. She moans in her sleep when I tenderly kiss her on the lips. Through a haze, she looks at me lovingly for a moment, but her eyes start blazing when she realizes I am sitting next to her. Do you visit all your employees when they are on sick leave? She groans as she sits up. Only when they're faking it, I smile. She moans softly as she places her fingers in front of her mouth. Are you okay? I frown when I notice she is paler than a moment ago. I am sick. She stands up and walks to the bathroom. I'm sick of your shit. I'm sorry I'm such a jerk. I stand up and follow her. And I'm here to make it up to you. I need privacy. She looks me dead in the eyes before she shuts the door and I lean against the wall. Lyanna, I'm serious, I shout at the door. We need to talk. But the only response I get is unearthly sounds. Lyanna. I ask urgently, but the sounds continue. Worried out of my mind, I open the door and stare in horror at Lyanna that is bent over the toilet. You are sick, I rush to her side. I did not think she was serious. I thought she was only trying to get rid of me. Go away, she croaks before a fresh wave of nausea overcomes her. I'm taking you to the doctor, I say adamantly. There's no need, she grunts as she flushes the toilet and rinses her mouth. I'm fine, she takes out her toothbrush. It's just stress. You're not fine, I protest as I look at her. Really look at her. You've lost weight and you're pale. You need a doctor. I said no, she mumbles with a mouthful of toothpaste. I don't care, damn it, Axel, she cuts me off and rinses her mouth before she turns to me. Give it a rest. Tomorrow is the due date with Wilson, and I'm stressed out about it, okay? I don't need a doctor. I don't like this, I frown. I am still not convinced that she is simply stressed out. Neither do I, she pushes past me and walks to the kitchen. Throwing up is my least fun activity. What can I do to make it better? I ask as I take a seat at the kitchen counter. Nothing, she smiles weakly as she pours water into the kettle. You're doing everything you can to keep me and Nina safe. David is taking Nina to a hotel tonight, I inform her as I watch her making tea. He will stay with her until we catch Wilson. I know, she nods. Nina told me and she's excited about it. Between me and you, Lyanna gives me a mischievous look. I think Nina has a huge crush on David. Between me and you, David is her mate, I grin. Seriously. Lyanna nearly spills the tea as she sits down and gapes at me. Yup, I reach over and take my cup. David told me. But she hasn't said a word to me, Lyanna pouts. He hasn't told her yet, I take a sip. He's waiting for her to recover from Wilson. But why? She frowns. That's wasting time. For a moment I look at my tea for answers. Now is the perfect time to tell her that she is my mate. But she is literally sick with worry, and I do not know if she can handle more. What would you have said if I told you I'm your mate after you rejected Wyatt? I ask as I look her dead in the eyes. Let's see, she taps her finger against her chin as she thinks. Yeah, you're right. David should give her time. Because I would have rejected you on the spot. Once burned, twice shy. I slowly nod as I inhale deeply. Knowing that I was right does not make it any better. It only confirms my fear that I might lose her. Are you ready for tomorrow? I change the subject and reprimand myself for being a coward. I am not ready for her rejection. As ready as I can be, she chuckles nervously. You won't be alone. I reach over and take her hand in mine. I promise. I will be with you the entire time. I know, she swallows and pulls her hand away. It's just, this is new to me. All this drama. My life used to be delightfully boring and predictable. I'm sorry for adding stress to your life, I say sincerely. Please, she rolls her eyes. This thing with Wilson would have happened with or without you. I'm talking about Angela, I say softly. You can't control crazy, she chuckles awkwardly. It's not your fault. I'm so sorry. Listen, Axel, she looks at me with sincerity. I came to you, not the other way around. You don't owe me an apology. I owe you. I call you an asshole and that's unfair. You helped with my dad and now with Nina. You gave me a job and are paying for my education. You have been nothing but kind and helpful. I wouldn't have survived these past months if it weren't for you. But before I can say a word, her eyes widen, and she jumps up and runs away. Hastily, I follow her and find her in the bathroom next to the toilet. That's it, I growl as I pick her up when she is done being sick. This is not normal. You're going to the doctor. I'm fine, she starts crying and I gently lay her down on the bed. Okay, I soothe as I sit next to her and stroke her hair. The doctor will come here. I don't need a doctor, she sniffs as she pulls a pillow over her head. Go away, this is embarrassing. Lyanna, how long has this been going on? I ignore her plea. It started yesterday, she mumbles. I don't believe you, I say patiently. You've lost too much weight. I lost weight because I haven't eaten okay, she says furiously as she jerks the pillow from her face. I missed you and I couldn't eat. Happy now? Not at all, I chuckle as I pick her up and cradle her against my chest. Let me go, she starts wiggling. I was sick, and I smell. Shut up, I hold her tighter. I'm not kissing you. I missed you so much, she throws her arms around my neck and starts crying. I missed you too, I bury my face in her neck and hold her tightly. When I came here, I expected to grovel for another chance. I did not expect an apology and a confession. But the joy and happiness I feel are overshadowed by worry as I stroke her back. I can feel her bones underneath my fingers. I do not care how much she fights me on this, but she will see a doctor today. She neglected herself by not eating for 3 weeks and now she cannot even hold down a cup of tea. I close my eyes and mind-link Michelle to get here immediately. Can I get you anything? I ask when her crying stops. A breath mint, she groans. I'm not a woman with a magic handbag full of tricks, I say jokingly, and she laughs softly. Fine, she wiggles out of my arms. I'll go brush my teeth. Stop worrying, she makes her eyes big at me when I follow her to the bathroom. This will pass once Wilson is out of the picture. The doctor is on her way, I cross my arms in front of my chest as I lean against the frame. So unnecessary, she rolls her eyes. Better safe than sorry, I reply and push myself upright when there is a knock on the door. Finish up, I'll answer the door. Lyanna POV. I sigh heavily as I look at my pale reflection in the mirror. My timing to get sick is terrible. Axel and I are supposed to talk things through. I rinse my mouth after I brushed my teeth again and walk into the room just as Michelle and Axel enter. I'll leave you to it and wait outside, Axel smiles after Michelle and I greet each other. This really wasn't necessary, I smile awkwardly as I take a seat on my bed. It's only stress and it will go away. When stress starts affecting your health, it is necessary. She takes out my file and starts paging through it. I do not say a word as I obediently follow her instructions when she examines me. And no fever. She starts writing in the file. No, I shake my head as I dress. No cramps, no aches or pains. Just vomiting and weight loss, she takes out a cup. The weight loss isn't relevant, I protest and avoid eye contact. No way am I admitting I lost weight because I was lovesick. I didn't eat because I wasn't hungry. Lack of appetite is also a sign of stress. She holds out the cup to me. I need a urine sample, please. But why? I frown as I take the cup. I need to be thorough, she smiles patiently. Nausea is a common symptom for many things. And since you can't keep anything down, I need to check your vitamin and mineral levels. Fine, I huff as I walk to the bathroom. This really is a fuss about nothing, but arguing about it is only a waste of time. It is quiet as I sit on the bed and play with my fingers while she tests my urine. Good news, she smiles after a while and turns to me. You don't have an infection, you are stressed and, told you this was a waste of time, I grin victoriously. And are you aware that you're pregnant? She asks softly. Yeah, right, I snort and start laughing. But my laughing quiets down when her facial expression does not change. Oh, shit, you're serious, I mumble, and she nods. No, I shake my head as I stare dumbstruck at her. It can't be. No. Which protection do you use? She looks sympathetically at me. The pill, I jump up and start pacing in the room. I took it religiously until what? She asks as I sit down on the bed when my legs turn to jelly. Until I ended up nearly frozen in the hospital, my voice is hoarse. And then we broke up and I didn't see the need to start again. I see, she nods as she continues writing in my file. No, you don't, I am on the verge of panic. That test must be wrong. I've only been with one man my entire life, Lyanna. When you were hospitalized, your system was flushed with fluids to heat you as well as antibiotics, Michelle explains patiently. The pill was cancelled out by that. Were you and your partner intimate after your hospitalization? Yes, I groan as I bury my face in my hands. But only like 5 times or so, I blurt out as I sit up again. Once is enough, she says patiently. Haven't you noticed that you missed your period? I don't know. I didn't track it, I stutter with a blush as I take out my phone and open the calendar. Oh, goddess, I mumble when I notice I am 2 weeks late. I was preoccupied, and I didn't notice. Truth is, I was zombified because I missed Axel and simply did not pay attention to anything. Are you sure you're not mistaken? I look at her hopefully. It's very unlikely, but it could be a false positive, she nods. According to your timeline, this is an early pregnancy, a blood test will confirm it. I mumble and hold out my arm. Take my blood. You'll have to come to my office for that, she smiles, and I drop my arm. In the meantime, I'm going to give you an injection to help with the nausea and a vitamin shot. I simply nod as she takes out a syringe. I was not prepared for this news and am still processing it. Do you want a sedative for the anxiety? She asks as she administers the medicine. No, I shake my head adamantly. I need a clear mind to get through this. Okay. Are you going to tell the father? She asks sympathetically. No. My head jerks towards her. And you can't tell him either. Relax, she laughs. There's such a thing as patient-doctor confidentially and I don't know who the father is. So, you won't tell Axel. I look at her hopefully. Even though he's paying the bill. I'm not allowed to, she confirms. Good, I sigh relieved. Do you know if you're keeping the baby? She takes out her prescription pad. Let's first confirm the pregnancy, I laugh awkwardly. Regardless of your decision or the results, I'm prescribing prenatal vitamins, her voice is calming as she scribbles. You should start taking it immediately. Your vitamin levels aren't where it's supposed to be. Lyanna, Michelle gives me a stern look as she hands over the prescription. I cannot stress this enough. If you don't start eating and taking care of yourself, I'm going to hospitalize you. If you keep this up, you're not only risking losing the baby, but you're also going to dehydrate. Especially if the father is a wolf. The strain on a human's body carrying a wolf's baby is much more than for a she-wolf. That's also a reason why you've lost so much weight so fast. I do not know why her words instill fear in me, and I nod in understanding. Make an appointment with my office for the blood test, she starts gathering her things. And please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any doubts or questions. Especially if you want to terminate the pregnancy. Thank you, I clear my throat before I look at her. For everything. It's my pleasure, she smiles before she walks out the door. Axel POV, is she going to be okay? I ask eagerly when Michelle walks out of the room. The waiting has been driving me nearly insane. Yes, she smiles reassuringly. But she's under a tremendous amount of pressure. Do you know why? I do, I close my eyes as I push my fingers through my hair. We're working on it. Okay then, she smiles. Call if you need me. Thanks, I escort her to her car and see her off. Alpha, Mike mind links me. We have intruders at the south perimeter. Did you catch them? I link as concern starts brewing. All the cottages are south. We're still tracking, Mike replies. But they're organized and slippery bastards. It's broad daylight, I bellow. Catch them, damn it. Alpha, you better get here, Mike replies. I grunt. The last thing I want to do, is leave Lyanna, but I cannot ignore this threat. Drew, I mind link him as I start undressing. Get to Lyanna immediately. On my way, he replies. I do not waste a moment, I shift and run as fast as I can. Dark tendrils curl around my heart as I smell smoke. But what is more ominous is the smell of burned meat. With horror and disgust, I look at the raging fire along the perimeter. Next to it, Mike has a wolf pinned to the ground while another guard is doing his best to extinguish the flames on a wailing wolf. Quickly I assist and cover the burning wolf with sand until all the flames are extinguished, but we are too late. He has no heartbeat. Are there more? I mind link hastily. No, Alpha, Mike replies. It's just the two of them. None of our people are hurt. You, I glare at the wolf that's pinned down underneath Mike's paw. Shift and start talking or you're joining Toasty over there. He immediately shifts back and does not even attempt to resist Mike's hold. Please, no, he whimpers. My name is Yvonne. We had no choice. Wilson, it's Wilson. He gave the orders. I'm just a cashier at a convenience store, Alpha. And you owe him money, I state as I shift. Why, yes, he stutters. Either I did this, or he will take my maid and keep her until I can repay him. And exactly what does this entail? I frown as I cross my arms in front of my chest. To locate the human's coordinates and booby-trap the perimeter, he quickly explains. We poured gasoline along the border of your property. We weren't supposed to light it now, but when the guards came for us, we panicked, and this happened. The firewall was supposed to trap you inside while they escape. Nobody was supposed to get hurt. Tell that to Crispy over there, I motion to the body. Who was he? His name was Ian, he replies. And he was pretty much in the same position as me. We haven't met before today. Have you reported any of this back to Wilson? I ask brusquely and he shakes his head feverishly. Give him the coordinates, I smile slyly. Report to him that everything went smoothly except the part where Ian accidentally set himself on fire when you were leaving. But, let him go, Mike, I interrupt Yvonne. Clean this mess up and go by your day as usual. But Alpha, Yvonne looks flabbergasted as he stands up. You don't understand. Wilson is planning to kidnap Nina if Lyanna doesn't pay tomorrow. If Wilson wants a trap, I'll give him one. There is no humor in my laugh. And Yvonne, if you double-cross me, Wilson will be the least of your concerns. Do you understand? Yes, Alpha, he nods. Now, report back to Wilson that everything went as planned and get Ian's corpse out of here, I order him firmly. I watch a butt-naked Yvonne scurrying to Ian as I mind-link my men to meet me. Axel, POV, Nick, Mike, and David are already waiting for me when I arrive at my office. The afternoon's event has me on edge. Wilson is either a moron or has balls the size of Texas to dare cross my boundaries. And I do not know which is worse, stupid or bold. Regardless of the answer, Wilson is dangerous, and I need to get him out of society. Knows for how long he has been terrorizing pack members. Nobody says a word as I take a seat behind my desk. Gentlemen, we don't have time to waste, I say as I look at them. We're going to entrap Wilson and at the same time, we need to get the humans to safety and keep the wolves on my premises safe. It sounds simple enough, Nick shrugs. Except that it's not, I say firmly as I give him a cold glare. This threat is within our borders. It's our members attacking their own. Nobody can be trusted, do you understand? Not even the guards. Any one of them could be doing business with Wilson. You will call them in for training tonight and all electronic devices must be handed in. If they refuse, don't make a fuss about it, and dismiss them for the evening. I'll look into their affairs after we captured Wilson. As far as the guards know, this is purely training. Nick, I turn my attention to him. You're in charge of my parents' safety. I don't want to burden them with this. So, not a word. Increase security in and around the mansion. Mike, I look at him. You're in charge of all wolves on the premises. Increase security but stay out of sight. I don't want Wilson and his scum to realize we're onto them. David and I will escort the humans to safety, but I will return in time. My hands are itching for Wilson's neck. Any questions? What if one of the guards warns Wilson that the girls have left? David asks concerned. They could mind-link him. They can't tell him what they don't know, I grin. The extraction of the girls will not leave this room and I'm the only one that knows the destination. My words ease David a little, but I can tell he is still concerned for his mate, and I can relate. Okay. I stand up and they follow. You know what to do. We're leaving in 2 hours. Lyanna, POV, I am pacing up and down in my room as I try to sort my thoughts, but I am failing miserably. My mind keeps on returning to one thing: I am pregnant. And every time the words pop up, my stomach dives. I am grateful for Michelle's injection, otherwise, I would be camping next to the toilet. If I was not stressed out before, I sure am now. I wish I could blame Axel for my situation, but I am entirely at fault. I was negligent with my pills. Also, I had no idea that my hospitalization would have such an impact on the pill's effectiveness. With my situation as it is, I cannot afford to be a single mother. Between my studies and work, I simply do not have the time or resources. But I do not want Axel to marry me because I am having his baby. If he decides to stay with me, it should be because he wants to be with me. Not because of obligation. I do not even want to fathom what Axel is going to say when he hears about this. I cannot think that he would be happy. No, I shake my head as I start chewing on my thumbnail. I cannot tell him. Not yet. Not before I know for a fact that I am pregnant or if I am going through with it. I groan as I throw myself on the bed and bury my head in the pillows. How did I manage to get myself into such a mess? Lyanna, Drew knocks softly on the door. Are you okay? Yeah, I shout as I get up and walk to open the door. Why are you here? Honestly, I don't know, he smiles sheepishly. Axel ordered me to check on you. Weird, I frown confused. I'm fine. In that case, can I beg for coffee? Drew looks at me pleadingly. Of course, I laugh heartedly as we walk to the kitchen. Drew and I are talking nonsense as he enjoys his coffee and me a cup of tea when Axel storms into the cottage like a whirlwind. Lyanna, he says seriously. Please go pack an overnight bag. You and Nina need to get to safety. Did something happen? My mouth turns dry, and my throat tightens with anxiety. No, and I would like to keep it that way, the corners of his mouth pull downwards. Please hurry. We're on a tight schedule. Am I taking you? Drew asks as he finishes his coffee and gets up. No, Axel replies firmly. Stay indoors and you need to be vigilant for the next 24 hours. I understand, Drew nods and does not even say goodbye when he leaves. Axel, what's going on? I frown. Please go pack, he sighs as he takes me by the elbow and guides me to my room. Just like Nina, it's safer if you're not here. But, it's not negotiable, he cuts me off and I swallow my protest. He has never spoken to me with so much authority and frankly, it scares me a little. Fine, I grunt as I yank my elbow free from his hold. But we're stopping at the pharmacy to pick up my prescription. There's no time, he replies through clenched teeth. I'll have it delivered. No. I say hastily and force myself to smile when he looks at me suspiciously. I want to do it myself. Why are we arguing about this? Tiredly he wipes over his eyes. It's quicker and safer my way. Is it so hard to understand that I'm trying to have a little control over my life? I reach for the first plausible argument. Truth is, it is not going to take a genius to figure out why I need prenatal vitamins. Okay, yes, he sighs and suddenly he smiles at me. Actually, that's a great idea. Pack your things, I'll be right back. I only shake my head in confusion as I start packing my bag. And then men have the audacity to call women complicated. 10 minutes later Axel returns with 3 women I have never seen before. At first glance, they look like triplets. Similar build, height and all of them are blonde just like me. They are all dressed completely in black, and their hair is tied into ponytails. Here, Axel holds out a package. Put this on and tie your hair up like they did. It is on the tip of my tongue to ask what he is up to, but I take the clothes and do as I am told. Perfect, Axel smiles when I return dressed in black like the women, and take a stand next to them. It's going to be nearly impossible to tell you 4 apart from a distance. This is weird, I mumble as I glance at the women. Adele, you're staying as discussed, Axel looks at one of them and she nods. Okay, ladies, Axel rests his hand on my lower back. Let's go. Perplexed I allow him to guide me out of the cottage as 2 of the women follow. I look over my shoulder to Adele that is staying behind and she smiles at me. They are decoys, Axel whispers next to me. Excuse me. I frown and nearly trip over my feet when I notice 3 identical black SUVs waiting for us. Adele is going to stay in your cottage, he explains as he opens the back door for me. Just in case Wilson gets it into his head to pay you a visit tonight. And suddenly everything falls into place when the 2 other Lyannas get into a SUV. If somebody is watching us, they would not know which car to follow. I assume there are 3 fake Ninas as well, I say when Axel climbs in next to me. Yes, there is, he confirms with a smile as the driver pulls away. Is all of this drama really necessary? I frown. I cannot think that Wilson would be that stupid to trespass onto your property. Well, he was stupid enough to send spies earlier, Axel snorts and I gape at him in disbelief. But you and Nina will be safe, he says quickly when he looks at me. He will not lay a finger on either of you. I'm so sorry, I whimper emotionally. All of this is because of Leon. My family and I are responsible for this drama. People are endangering their lives because of us. This isn't fair towards you or your people. Don't, Axel says firmly as he folds my hand into his. You don't owe me or my pack an apology. You're not at fault. But he's my brother, I protest. My family is causing this. Only a fool will hold you responsible for your brother's doings, his voice is low and stern. Every person is responsible for their own choices. Leon might be in debt, but it's still Wilson's choice to collect from you and not him. I still feel responsible, I mumble, but I cannot deny that my heart feels lighter with the assurance that he is not blaming me. And I wish you wouldn't, he sighs heavily. You may not understand, but in a sense, this is a good thing. I might have never learned about Wilson and his activities, and he will continue intimidating and hurting people. Now I can get rid of him. This is a good thing for the pack. We don't need members like Wilson. Okay, I smile and turn away to stare out of the window at the passing scenery. What he is saying makes sense, but I do not care which way he colors it. My brother managed to disrupt my life yet again and I am so over it. Axel POV. Remember what we talked about? I look at Lyanna when we park in front of the pharmacy. Keep your head down and all of you will enter and exit at the same time. Do you really think we're being followed? She asks with eyes full of concern. Not at the moment, no, but we're not taking any changes, I explain gently. All of these are precautions. Okay, she nods as she takes her purse and watches as the other cars park next to us. Why are there 6 cars? There were only 3 when we left. It's Nina and her replicas, I chuckle. They're waiting for us. We're leaving the border at the same time. And nobody finds it suspicious. She turns to me. I mean, a convoy of SUVs isn't an everyday occurrence. Except for alphas, I smile patiently. We often travel like this. I mind link the other Lyannas and lean over Lyanna to open her door once they confirm they are ready. She quickly gets out and I watch her walk into the pharmacy. That should have been me, I groan inwardly. It does not feel right to let her out of my sight. The she-wolves are highly trained and are more than capable of keeping her safe, but I want to be with my mate. The 20 minutes it takes her to get the prescription feels like an eternity and I only relax when she gets into the car again. Done, she smiles at me as she puts her parcel in her backpack. On my command, all vehicles head for the highway. Are all of those pills? I frown when I look at the size of the bag. No, she chuckles softly as she holds up a bottle. I don't know how long the drive is, so I bought snacks. Gatorade and ginger cookies. Are you hungry? I ask quickly and I want to kick myself for not thinking about food sooner. I was there when she emptied her stomach, and she must be starving. We have a basket filled with drinks and, no, she interrupts me. I'm not hungry, but Michelle threatened me with the hospital if I don't eat. But that's not food, I argue flabbergasted. It's electrolytes and carbs, Axel, she rolls her eyes as she opens the cookies. My stomach won't be able to tolerate much else. She reaches between the seats and offers the driver a cookie which he accepts before she sits back and turns to face me. Cookie. She smiles brightly at me. Thanks, I take one. But you didn't have to buy stuff, I brought everything. Including Gatorade. But did you bring ginger cookies? She wiggles her eyebrows. No, I laugh defeated. Next time I'll know better. The last of the sun's rays disappear on the horizon when we get onto the highway and soon, we are surrounded by darkness and passing headlights. So, she sits back and makes herself comfortable. How long before we get to wherever? We should be there around 8, I reply. Are we all going to the same place? She looks curiously at me as she opens her drink. You and Nina? Yes, I nod. The other vehicles will separate from us when we exit the highway. Okay, she tries to hide a yawn, but I can clearly hear it in her voice. I hope Nina's not too disappointed. I mean, she was hoping for some alone time with, you know. There will be other opportunities, I chuckle as I watch her putting away the cookies and Gatorade. Are you okay? I ask as she takes deep breaths. I think I was too eager with the cookies, she tries to smile but instead swallows hard. Should we pull over? I ask concerned. No, she shakes her head. It'll pass. Come here, I pull her onto my lap and turn her towards the window. Do you see that sign over there? I point to the big, bright neon advertisement for a motel, and she nods. Keep your eyes on that, I wrap my arms around her and pull her head against my shoulder. Don't look at the passing cars or lights. Fixate on the sign in the distance. A comfortable silence fills the car as she relaxes in my arms. Thanks, she whispers after a moment. It worked. I smile down at her as I cup her cheek and kiss her slowly and silently. It is not a kiss with desire and passion. It is a tender, heartfelt kiss. A kiss filled with love and serenity. At least, it is for me, I sigh inwardly when I let her go and she nestles closer to my chest. I lean back against the seat and close my eyes as I listen to her steady breathing. Lyanna is so outspoken about her emotions, but still, I have no idea how she feels. She has the ability to tell me in very colorful words why she is mad at me and what makes her happy, but when it comes to matters of her heart, she does not give me so much as a glimpse. And it is frustrating. Lyanna POV wake up, Axel murmurs in my ear and I slowly open my eyes. We're here. Where's here? I groan as I sit up and curiously look at the moonlight shining brightly on a lake. My parents' lake house, he replies as the driver opens the door and I climb out with stiff limbs. I turn and look at the huge wooden cabin. It has a beautiful porch facing the lake and I can only imagine how peaceful and scenic it must be to sit there and watch a sunrise. This is a gorgeous place, I say when Axel comes to stand next to me. Do you come here often? My mother comes here when she needs space when my dad upsets her, Axel chuckles. So, yes, she does. I bet she picks fights with him just to come here, I laugh heartedly as two cars park next to ours. That's what I would have done. I wouldn't put that past her, Axel laughs as Nina and the guards get out of the car and walk towards us. David, Axel's playful mood shifts to business. Please escort the ladies inside and show them their rooms. David nods and places his hand on Nina's lower back. I grab my backpack from the car before I follow them into the house. Michelle's medication has worked, but I do not feel so well right now. And I know why. Seeing all the guards and listening to Axel's serious voice has my guts in turmoil again. I know he is downplaying the seriousness of the situation. All these arrangements have been made in haste. The cabin is spacious and luxurious, and I follow David in awe to my room. These people simply have a different way of life. People like me must work and save for years to hopefully spend a week at such an establishment. This is merely a second home to them. I place my backpack on the bed, close the door behind David and go stand in front of the window to admire the lake. Carefully I rest my hand on my abdomen and my forehead against the cold glass. I know that the blood test will confirm that I am pregnant. Denying it will not change the fact, and I honestly do not know how I feel about it. What if he wants the baby and not me? I know myself, I will never give up my child regardless of who the father is. I do love Axel, but I do not know if it would be wise to spend the rest of my life with him and raise a child together. I do not belong in his world. What does an ordinary girl like me know about wealth? Not to mention the dark cloud of shame my family will bring. How can we possibly see eye to eye when raising a child together? How are you feeling? Axel asks as he enters the room and I turn around to face him. I'm fine, I smile. This place is magnificent. You seem pale, he frowns as he walks to me. Are you sure, I don't feel sick, Axel? I cut him off. Stop worrying. I ordered you chicken soup, he continues as if I have not said a word. They'll bring it to your room once it's ready. Honestly, that's not necessary, I roll my eyes. I am more than capable of finding the kitchen and feeding myself when I'm hungry. Well, it's done, he shrugs. You might as well accept it. My cell phone rings in my bag, and I walk to the bed to get it. I frown when I look at the unfamiliar number as I answer it. Hello, Lyanna, Wilson greets me in a creepy voice and ominous tendrils curl around my heart. Without saying a word, I look at Axel and turn the speakerphone on. I trust you have the money, he continues when I do not reply. I told you I'm not playing this game, I say and wish I did not sound as scared as I am. Axel takes my hand as his face turns to cold hard granite. And I told you what would happen if you don't, he snarls. Are you really going to risk Nina's neck for your principles? It is on the tip of my tongue to send him, but Axel shakes his head and quickly whispers into my ear. Fine, you win, I sigh into the phone after I listened to Axel's instruction. I'll go to the bank tomorrow and try, Lyanna, he cuts me off sharply. You had 3 weeks to try, now you must do. I'll do my best, I bite off the words. Good girl, he snarls. You shouldn't be so stubborn, it's very unbecoming and you're wasting time. Meet me in the park tomorrow at noon. And Lyanna, if I so much as sniff the alpha or his men, Nina will pay. That's a promise. Lyanna POV. I stare at the dead phone in my hand for a moment before I drop it and run to the bathroom when sour bile pushes up my throat. I reach the toilet just in time and tears stream over my face as I empty my stomach. I'm getting your medication, Axel sounds worried as he looks at me. No. I croak hastily and wipe over my face. This is so utterly humiliating, but if he looks in my bag, he will see the prenatal vitamins and I am not ready to talk to him about that. Not before I have clarified my feelings regarding the pregnancy. It won't help, right now, I stutter as I stand up. It will only go out the way it went in. I must wait a moment. Are you sure? He frowns and I nod feverishly before I rinse my face. I'm getting my toothbrush, I mumble sheepishly as I push past him to get to my bag. An earthquake tearing the ground apart underneath me would not be the worst thing right now, I decide as Axel's gaze does not leave me when I gather my stuff to brush my teeth. I am embarrassed and feel like a weakling. He is a wolf, for crying out loud. Kicking ass and taking names is his thing. Meanwhile, I fall apart after a mere phone call. It is no wonder I am deteriorating while carrying his baby. I am a feeble and puny human, and I am not worthy. I'm still not satisfied you're okay, Axel mumbles as I go back into the room. I'm familiar with nerves and this isn't normal. I'm a human, Axel, the anxiety and self-doubt get to me, and I lose my temper. A very boring human who used to have a boring life. The only anxiety I carried over the years is whether or not my mother is going to approve. Or what trouble Leon is going to get into next and how I will bail him out yet again. I'm not used to people extorting me or threatening my friends. Dropping everything and fleeing to safety is new to me. It's not normal for me that people are trying to kill me. And speaking of killing, it's not normal to kill people when they piss you off. You might feel like you want to do it and you might say you're going to do it, but you don't. It's not normal. Lyanna, no, I cut him off adamantly. I am on a roll and am not done. I hate Angela, like really hate her. From the very first time I saw her. She's a heartless bitch with no regard for other people's feelings. And she did a terrible thing, which is punishable. But by a court of law, not by vengeance. As despicable as she is, she's still someone's daughter. Her parents could be the sweetest people on earth and her death will devastate them. They're not, Axel grunts. Believe me. That's not the point, I throw my hands up in the air. Dead people don't have to deal with the consequences, the people staying behind do. She tried to kill you, Axel bellows. How does that not infuriate you? How can you be on her side and show compassion? Because I'm the person staying behind, I yell at the top of my lungs and his eyes widen when I start crying out of frustration and anger. I'm furious at her, Axel, I continue. But I know how it feels to stay behind and deal with the consequences. Leon runs around wild and I'm the one staying behind to clean up the mess. I'm the one planning and scheming to keep food on my family's table. And it's exhausting, Axel. Lyanna, I don't want the responsibility, I sob and go sit on the bed. I don't want to see the hurt and pain in her parents' eyes because they lost their child. I don't want other people to feel like this. If you kill Angela, her parents will hate you. And your parents will too, and I don't want that for you. It is silent for a moment between us before he kneels in front of me and takes my hands in his. Wolves are creatures of nature, he says softly as he captures and holds my gaze. In nature, it is live or die, Lyanna. She knew what she was doing, and she knows the punishment. If the roles were reversed, she would have expected me to kill you. That's our laws, our way of life. I get that, I sniff. But you need to understand that this isn't my normal and it's making me sick. Okay, he sighs as he gets up and comes to sit next to me. He drapes his arm around my shoulders and I eagerly lean closer to him. No more talking about killing people. Thank you, I mumble. And no more fussing over me because I cannot handle the pressure. Fine, he snorts. You can puke all you want, and I won't care. Good, I chuckle as I wipe away the last of my tears. But Lyanna, he pulls away and places a finger under my chin to lift my face. You need to remember that I will kill for you. Oh, okay, I murmur as his green eyes pierce into mine. His words are both romantic and scary. I never had a person who is willing to kill for me and I never expected that this Adonis of a man would. But at the same time, the enormity of the moment is scaring the shit out of me. The loaded atmosphere between us splinters when there is a knock on the door. With a sigh, Axel gets up to answer it. Your soup arrived, he announces as an Omega places a tray on the table in the corner and scurries away. Do you think you can eat it? I sure am going to try, I smile wryly as I get up. Where's yours? I frown as I look at the single bowl on the tray. Soup is for sick people, he snorts. It's not a food group. Then where's your steak? I mock and make my eyes big at him. At home, he grins as he takes a seat on the sofa next to me. I must go back tonight. You're not staying. I blow on the soup and avoid eye contact to conceal my disappointment. No, there are pressing matters at home, he smiles. Like Wilson, I nod in understanding and the delicious soup turns tasteless in my mouth. I do not know what Axel is hiding, but I am sure Wilson's spies did something that has Axel on edge. Yes, he confirms. I must brief Adele. She will pose as you tomorrow. What is going to happen to Wilson? I ask softly. I bet you wanted to ask if I am going to kill him. Axel raises his eyebrows at me, and I look away guilty. No, Lyanna, he sighs. Contrary to what you're thinking, killing isn't a sport for me. That's not what I said or implied, I protest indignantly. I need him alive, Axel continues as if I have not said anything. He has an illegal business and preys on the weak. This is bigger than Leon. It is about my pack's safety. Getting rid of Wilson's business is more important than getting rid of him. His words are like a punch in the gut. Wyatt, I mumble as I look at Axel. I forgot about him. He is somehow involved. I won't kill him either, okay? Axel's face is hard, and his eyes are cold. Your ex-fiancé will live. Axel, you better get off this runaway horse before it throws you off, I warn him softly. I haven't said a word about killing. No, he jumps up. You only screamed at me 5 minutes ago about what a monster I am for wanting to. Get out of my room, my words are soft and calculated as I get up and go stand in front of him so our eyes can meet. Now. No, he glares at me. You can't expect me to simply be okay with what you've said. I told you how I feel, I hiss at him. I didn't accuse you of anything or called you names. But don't worry, in the future, I will keep my feelings and opinions to myself. Furiously and hurt, I turn around. We're still talking, he grabs my wrist, but I jerk free and take a step backwards. Well, then, go ahead and talk, I glare at him as I cross my arms in front of my chest. I am the alpha, he says through clenched teeth. I'm responsible for every pack member's safety. I'm not a raging lunatic on a killing spree, I'm protecting my people and certain crimes are punishable by death. Go ahead and kill them, I shrug. I'm not stopping you. You just, no, I cut him off, unable to control myself. I shared my feelings, Axel. Don't confuse that with telling you what to do and how to do your job. I only remembered Wyatt has a little boy and for a moment I committed the ultimate sin to feel sorry for the child that will grow up without his father. But you can go now, I won't keep you any longer. You're right, I should go, he huffs as he walks away. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. This day is a disaster. Axel, wait, I call him softly and he turns back to me. We look at each other for a moment before I walk to him and put my arms around his waist. I press myself tightly against him and hold on until I feel his arms around me. Be safe, I murmur before I pull away. He looks at me perplexed for a moment before he softly kisses me and walks to the door. One last thing, he says as he opens the door. There are things much worse than dying. There is mercy in death. Remember that. Lyanna POV zombified, I stare at the door Axel slammed shut. This is wrong on so many levels, I groan as I rub over my face. This situation has us both on edge and instead of talking things through like adults, we are fighting. I angrily kicked him out of my room and we both said hurtful things. I do not get why he thinks I called him a monster. Or what I have said that gave him the impression that I think so. All I wanted was for him to understand why I am so stressed out. You need to remember I will kill for you. His words dart through my mind and suddenly everything changes. All of this, all that he is doing, is for me. He is protecting me. He is on his way to face a criminal for me. Damn it, Lyanna, what have you done? I reprimand myself as I run to the door. Axel POV I am trembling with rage as I walk to the car. Never in my life did I have to defend my actions or the pack's laws. Now I understand why humans fear us. Why they think we are murderous monsters. Because they do not understand us and our laws. And now I have a human mate. Her human heart will never allow her to accept me for who and what I am. In her eyes, I will always be cruel and heartless with a taste for blood. How can she love and respect me as a wolf, her mate, and alpha when she thinks I am the devil? I keep on clinging to the hope that she will accept me. At times I figured it would be best if I reject her and be done with it. But then I turn around and hope again. Tonight, however, it became clear that I am a fool for hoping. She will never accept me or our way of life. The sooner I acknowledge it, the sooner I can move on and find happiness elsewhere. Axel. Lyanna shouts from the porch and I sigh inwardly. I cannot argue with her about this any longer. I need to go, Lyanna, I say as I turn around. We can talk more when I get back. No, she shouts as she runs to me. I need to say one more thing before you go. Don't you think we've said enough for one night? I push my fingers through my hair as she comes to stand in front of me with a flustered face. One thing, she looks at me eagerly. I only have one thing to say. I'm listening, I say as I place my hands on my hips. Privately, she whispers as she leans forward and motions with her head towards the driver who is waiting for me. Dear Goddess, you're exhausting, I grunt as I take her by the elbow and lead her towards the lake. I mind link all guards to stay out of sight when we reach the shore. You have 5 minutes, I say firmly as I let go of her. I get it, you're a wolf, she says softly. But so is Wilson, and I forgot that. You're not protecting me against a human, you're protecting me against a wolf. I might not understand or agree, but I get it. Is that it? I ask brusquely to hide my relief. I did not expect this, and I do not want to get my hopes up. The next words out of her mouth might very well devastate me again. No, she sighs, and I grind my teeth. I knew it. Now she is going to lecture me about the value of life. You're doing this for me, and I don't want you to leave in anger. Her words surprise me. Okay, I agree to ease her mind. Truth is, it does not matter if we are fighting or not. There is a gap between us, and I do not know if we will ever be able to cross it. We're done fighting. I place my palm against her cheek and gently stroke with my thumb. But I really must be going now, I smile softly. Okay, she whispers as she turns her face and kisses me on my palm. Be safe, please. I lean forward and kiss her long and lingering. She throws her arms around my neck and pushes herself closer to me. I know I should pull away and leave, but I cannot resist her. With a groan, I wrap my arms around her waist and intensify the kiss. It does not matter how much we argue or what we argue about, everything falls away when she is so willing and eager in my arms. Lyanna is trembling softly when I let go of her, and she wraps her arms around her waist as she looks at her feet. Why are you crying? I look at the tears that she is trying to hide. We're done fighting, remember? I know, she sniffs. But I'm scared. You have nothing to be scared about, I smile reassuringly as I rub up and down her arms. You and Nina are safe here, and Wilson will never. It's not about me or Nina, she interrupts. I'm scared for you. Listen, I know all of this is new to you, I say firmly as I rest my hands on her shoulders. But this isn't such a big deal. Adele is going to do the exchange and then we catch him. But what if he doesn't come alone, she protests. Adele's not going alone either, I reply patiently. And they might shift and, then we will shift, I cut her off. Lyanna, we got this. You shouldn't work yourself up about it. But anything can go wrong, she argues. And we will handle it, I say firmly. We have dealt with worse. Okay, she nods after a moment and wipes her tears off. Okay, just come back to us. I mean, she takes a deep breath and blinks a couple of times. Come back to me and Nina and your people. I will, I kiss her once more before I walk to the car. Lyanna POV, my heart is racing like a horse as I watch him walk away. The last thing I planned on was becoming emotional. I only wanted us to part on good terms. But then he kissed me, and I thought about how good it felt. Fear that he might get hurt and that I might not see him again overcame me, and I should not have said that. I am still trying to come to terms with this pregnancy, I cannot dump it onto him tonight. Especially not now. He has enough to deal with. This is such a mess. There is merit in the saying, when it rains, it pours. I am no wolf and definitely no alpha. I have no idea what it takes to keep an entire pack in line and safe. And I have no business having an opinion. Like I did earlier. For God's sake, there is a reason why I keep running to him with my problems. He is the one solving problems. Not me, I create them and then I am entitled enough to criticize his methods. I was so wrapped up in my own feelings that I did not consider Axel's position. He has taken all of my problems on himself. I might disagree with his methods, but he gets it done. Who am I to judge? It is not like I know better or have better ideas. I exhale deeply as I walk back to the house. I might not be able to do anything, but I sure can stop adding problems for him to solve. In fact, I am going to do my part and sort out my own business. First thing tomorrow morning, I will make an appointment with Michelle to confirm the pregnancy. Then I must decide what I want to do about it. I would love to keep it, but I need to be realistic. I cannot provide for the child on my own. I am only temporarily employed, and not to mention that I must take off time to give birth at some point. And I will have to give up my studies. I must be practical and face the fact that I cannot do everything at once. This leaves me with the only option but to involve Axel again. To be fair, this is his baby. Keeping it away from him would be wrong, cruel, and immoral. But he has so much to cope with. Does he really have the time to deal with a baby? Does he even want to be a father? I hate to admit it, but now the best option is to terminate the pregnancy. It is horrible, and I cringe at only thinking about it, but I must do what is best for everyone. I slump down on my bed and reach for my backpack. I pull out the prenatal vitamins and stare at them. What is the use of taking it if I am not going to keep the baby? With a defeated sigh, I shake out a pill and swallow it. While I am carrying this baby, I will do it good and properly. After a long, luxurious bath, I put on my pajamas and get into bed. But even after all of that, my mind cannot shut down. I am worried about tomorrow, about Axel. I am conflicted about the baby. But most of all, I feel guilt and self-pity. Guilty because it is my brother that caused all of this. And I feel immensely sorry for myself. I am hopelessly in love with the wrong man. No, he is the right man. Axel will always be the right man. But I am not the right woman for him. I will just ruin his life like I have been ruining it since I signed the agreement with him. And I have no idea if keeping his baby will be good or bad. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. Join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks. A link is provided in the video description.